Okay, so the first big question is, why do you keep coming back to the OpenStack Summit?
Because OpenStack is f***ing awesome.
The OpenStack Summit is really unique because the entire community comes together from all over the world. People from 60 countries, people from hundreds of companies, and they come together to collaborate about what to build in OpenStack, how to deploy it, and where we need to take the software in the community.
Upstream Institute is the basics that someone needs to know when it comes to participate in the OpenStack community. They are learning how the different tools are working, what are the best practices of using these tools, and how an open source community works, even if they don't have experience with open source from earlier.
The marketplace is like a showcase. It showcases the people who are working on OpenStack. You can walk around the different vendor booths and try to figure out what products they sell, and you can have interactive conversation with the people there about your own experiences, how you have your own clouds or how you can use their products in your cloud and things like that.
The forum is where we discuss the future of the OpenStack software in a cross-community manner. We don't do design behind closed doors. We're really into including as many people as we can, and the forum is where we achieve that promise.
Yeah, essentially we used to have two separate events for developers and operators called the Ops Summit and the Design Summit. And the forum, is basically a way of us fulfilling our role of ensuring communication is happening between all involved parties.
If you work on a project just inside your company, everyone kind of thinks the same way, but when you come to an OpenStack Summit, you may build for one use case, and then someone shows up and say, hey, we use that for something completely different. It's so awesome to be able to hear that not only your stuff is being used, but that it's being used for a use case you never thought about.
There are very few women that are in technology in general, and there are even less Black women. To know that we're out there and that we're into seriously technical things, it's empowering.
So Women of OpenStack is our advocacy group for women and their allies to come in, to meet, to network. Throughout the summit week, they'll be telling you woo's here, woo's there, to find the resources and feel empowered to stay in the community and keep contributing.
That's a lot of woo.
I barely use my laptop when I'm at the summit. That's not what I'm there for. If I'm in the design session and I need to code something, well, I'll find a moment and I'll stay just 1 hour, whatever, and do whatever I have to do on my laptop. But I spend most of my time talking to people.
Whenever it comes to deciding whether I will talk to someone or attend a session, I usually talk to someone.
Don't take your computer. Take some paper, some pen, take notes, but don't spend time on your emails and stuff. Focus your few days on talking with people and working with them.
Software is hard, and if you get to know the people, then software becomes easier. This is a place where there are many people who are like you, so get to know people, build your network, and make friends.
Good morning, OpenStack. Welcome to Sydney. Please welcome the founders of the Australian OpenStack User Group, Tristan Good and Tom Fifield.
Welcome to Australia's first ever OpenStack Summit.
Please allow me to acknowledge the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders as the people who are the traditional custodians of this land upon which we hold our event.
So back in 2011, within a few days of each other, we independently had the same idea, to start an OpenStack user group in Australia.
Yeah, and the first meetup we had was in a pub under the Sydney Harbour Bridge. And we had about 30 people turn up. And now, look, we're in this shiny new convention centre.
It's fantastic. And over those 6 years, a great deal has happened. OpenStack has gone from being a literal science experiment across Australia's universities to being an important part of the infrastructure at all major telcos, most major banks, and several pretty important government departments. So, Tristan, you've been working on bringing the summit here for 6 years. How are you feeling today?
We started working to get the summit here in San Diego, so I'm really, really pleased. And over the last 6 years, we've held about 100 meetups around the country, and they've grown from being, drinks in a pub and pizza, and to OpenStack days where we've had several hundred people come along.
That's true, and I think some of our friends from overseas might not be aware Australia's pretty vast, and the Australian group is quite unique in terms of its reach.
It is quite unique. Many of the other groups are city-based, but our group expands across the whole country.
And we were chatting at the pub last night, as
we
Aussies
do, yeah.
and just
I don't remember much of it, though.
Yeah, talking about the Australians tend to have a pretty good presence at OpenStack summits.
Yeah.
So I wonder if we've got any Australians here. Should we?
I don't know.
Do
I
a
think
traditional
so.
call out?
I think so.
Aussie,
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 Aussie! Fantastic. So a really important part of OpenStack's growth has been its global adoption. And it's so fantastic to see, in addition to the Aussies here, we've got people from all around the world. We've got major sponsors, contributors, board members. Welcome everyone from the Asia-Pacific region in particular, which has exploded over the past couple of years. And a globally engaged community is critical for OpenStack's success. We're very excited to bring you here to Sydney to sample some of the finest. Hang on, this says the food in Sydney is the best. I'm from Melbourne, I can't say that.
I know we've got the Melbourne weather at the moment.
Ah, okay, we'll stop that. Anyway, Tristan, you've been running a company here in Australia from the beginning. I think you want to give a quick spiel
Yeah,
about
so
that.
that's my day job. I'm CEO of a company called Aptera, and we're a consulting and managed services company that's specialised in OpenStack for most of the time that OpenStack has been around. So you're probably wondering about the astronauts. Well, we're not actually astronauts, we're solutionauts. So we're a little different to most other companies. We don't do product. What we do is we work with our customers doing services, and we work with many of the vendors in the OpenStack ecosystem, and that's led to us being known as a trusted advisor for many of the largest organisations in the country. We go far beyond what regular services consultants might do, as you can see. And we're good at it. Just ask any of them. Come and see us in our booth in A3. So enjoy your stay, beware of the drop bears.
And the bastard kangaroos.
And don't feed the bin chickens.
Let's please welcome Mark Collier and Lauren Sell from the OpenStack Foundation.
All right. Thank you, Tom and Tristan, and the whole Aptera team and everybody who's helped build the community here in Australia.